All right, everyone, here we are with ticker symbol IDX, Ideanomics Inc. And before we jump into this chart, I want to say welcome to all the first-time viewers and investors. Welcome to the channel. Invest for tomorrow. To all the subscribers, welcome back. And let's jump into this chart. So IDX ran up in a tremendous way today, right? We saw that jump big time. I mean, it broke through that resistance here of 225. It left it behind. It hit new highs here of about 280. As we could see, and now this is going quickly back in the other direction. So just as fast as it went up, it's gone down, but it's still in bullish territory, and it is higher than where it started off. But that was very volatile. That was a lot of volatility there. We need to watch this carefully, right? Because this has been in a recovery state, and this was a nice consolidation before a run. So what we want to see for tomorrow is IDX stock going to rise back up and kind of hold itself up and pull away and stay in bullish territory, or are the bears reappearing and taking this one down? So we have a few support levels here to kind of break the chart down. So once a resistance level is broken through, it's no longer a resistance level, it becomes a support. So 225 here is one of our first support levels after the 50-day moving average gets crossed and this gets into bearish territory. You want to keep that in mind. If that gets crossed, our next support level is truly the support level from the previous date leading into today, and that's 211, the lowest point before the run. So we have these 2 points of reference to see how the stock behaves in between them, and if it breaks through both of them, this could be on its way down to newer lows and newer support levels. So let's see here what the new resistance and support is, but I want to talk about this a little bit broader than what we're about to look at. So this is the narrow stretch here, and we want to keep these numbers in mind. They're super important for how this continues to play out. So we have the 50-day moving average here, which is pretty important as well, and that's 230. That lets us know on what side of the chart we're in, if we're in bullish or bearish territory. This is a very close one. We're at 234. If that gets crossed and ends up below it, will be in bearish territory. So I want every single investor to be aware of that. Now, we have our resistance and our support. The most important point for the bulls to break through in the near term, coming days and weeks in the upward direction, it's 280. They want to break through that because that will be a newer high seen, right? Because that's the highest point we've seen so far, and new resistance level. So that is the most important. Like I stated before, 211 is a very important support level. It's the lowest point before it ran up. And then we have those midway points at 225 and so forth. And we have now the 50-day moving average also as a point of reference, which is 230. So we kind of want to dissect this as much as possible to pay very close attention to the behavior of this stock, because IDX was volatile in the upward and downward direction, right, as it was going up, but it was going up pretty calmly, like how I did when it was consolidating here in that slow, downward trend, but it was holding itself up above the 170 and the 160 mark. And then now it just ran up from like literally 211, right, all the way up to 280, and then it just dropped almost more than half of that right back down. So we really want to watch the behavior of this stock carefully. That's why we want to dissect it as much as possible. So let's see here our new resistance level, and we're going to see our new support. So our support here is 231. If that gets broken through, there's a very small window between 231 and 230 to end up in bearish territory, and that's why we have 225, and we also have the other points of reference down here at 211 to see how it's reacting in bearish territory and if the bulls are trying to reappear. Very, very important to keep that in mind. Now, if it gets crossed, it doesn't mean that the bulls have lost control and that the bears are winning. And even if it ends up in bearish territory, we need to still watch what's going on and how quickly is it moving down there, because it's still above where it started off, but it could start a downward trend. Or this could be a quick pullback and now the bulls reappear tomorrow. And that's why we need to, like I said, and I keep saying, watch this very carefully, and that's why we have this whole entire chart dissected as much as possible so that we can break it down and watch the behaviors in between these different layers here and support levels and resistance levels, right? And then now we have our resistance up here, and that's 249. 249 is very important. That needs to be broken through for the bulls to have a slight recovery and actually turn that into a support to work their way up to 280, which is the most important resistance level, and stay in bullish territory, continue the momentum, right, that they've formed here. They've been with a nice momentum working their way up, and also stop the bears from reappearing, right, and continuing to pull this down. So 249 is definitely a resistance level that needs to be broken through by the bulls, turn into a support, and the bulls need to pull away from it to reach newer highs. And I want to emphasize this: the bulls need to break through 249 to stay in bullish territory. It is very important for them to do this. If they don't accomplish this, it's going to be very difficult for the bulls to bring this back up, and the bears could start to dominate. Now, just because the bears start to dominate doesn't mean that the bulls can't reappear, but just because this falls down and then the bulls reappear doesn't mean that they're confirmed to stay in bullish territory. It'll just come into a situation of a tug of war. Unlike here, this is where you can see, right, where the bears have been dominating most of this whole entire upward trend until here. This is literally where the bears appeared, and the bulls actually were dominating this, and that's very important to keep that in mind. And that's when the bulls appeared strong, but now the bears have reappeared. It's almost like the bulls appeared strong here, but it doesn't mean that the bulls really won this. This was like almost like the bulls overdoing it, and the bears took advantage and then reappeared and tore this down. So we want to see this closely, right? And we also want to keep in mind that these are numbers up here in this area where the stock was going down, right? And people either have been holding down here and they were up here and they decided to get out. It's almost like their break-even point. So you got to keep in mind that as well. These could all be healthy pullbacks. We need to watch it carefully. We need to see what's going on and keep in mind those cues and references. As always, if you found this video helpful and informative, please do so and subscribe. Don't forget to click on the bell to turn on all notifications and not miss a single video that I post. Share this with your friends and community. And don't forget to hit that like button to let me know you watched this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and let's make some money. At the end of this video, there's going to be a pop-up video, and in that video, I will be discussing about the S&P 500 index and how it's been rising several points on scheduled dates. As you see here on the graph, these circles are the dates that the pumps have happened, and I use them as examples to show you guys how much the stocks have risen, and the S&P 500 index rose on those dates. And the reason why it's rising is due to the fact that the Federal Reserve is pumping the markets. On these dates, the charts and the dates speak for themselves, as we can see it here, and I break it down into more detail in the video. But just to summarize it, on these dates, the S&P 500 rises, and there's individual ticker symbols rising up with it, anywhere from 30 cents to $3 per share. I know it may not seem like a lot, but per share that does add up, and these individual ticker symbols are giving you back profits. These are profits, and like I always say, profits are profits. Whether it's $1 put into the market and you get back $2, you've put in an initial investment and you got back more than what you started with. That's what it's all about. And also in the video, I go into further detail showing you guys these dates and showing you how much it rose. Like, for example, this was one of the last pump dates, and the lowest point that it reached was down here at 35.11, and the highest point reached was 35.57. That's like a 40-point jump. And here we're seeing the same thing. It went down to 35.88, and it rose up to about, I'd say, let's see, this is all still in the same day. It rose up to about a total amount of 36.23. When you do the math, that's almost a 40 to 50 point jump, and there's individual ticker symbols rising up with this. Now, I'm not there to guarantee you profits. I'm not there to tell you to buy, sell, or hold anything in particular. I'm just here to inform every single investor on the great news, on the opportunity to maximize profits and minimize losses. You have to do your due diligence and research, but these charts and the dates speak for themselves. I mean, this was probably one of the largest jumps that I've seen in the last couple of pumps, and it was down here at 33.02, and it rose up to about 33.88. That was an 80-point jump. There was probably ticker symbols rising up more than $3 per share on those dates. And even on these dates, there's individual ticker symbols rising more than $3 per share. Check it out, see for yourselves, and my best advice is look for ticker symbols that may be resembling the behavior of the S&P 500 index, and you'll be able to go ahead and give it a shot. Check it out. Again, I'm not there to tell you to buy, sell, or hold anything in particular. I'm not there to guarantee you profits. I'm just here to go ahead and share the information along with every single viewer and investor. The video should be popping up soon. If you haven't seen it already, pop up. There is the link down below in the description. Thank you guys so much for watching, and let's make some money.